Hi camping friends. I did not even think about a YouTube channel back when we camped at Little Bennett Campgrounds. That's in Maryland. So I don't have any actual video footage from the campground, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So we stayed at Little Bennett Campground because it was about 45 minutes with traffic to get to Washington, D.C. And we decided that since it's more of like a county campground, it was a little bit cheaper than some of the actual campgrounds that you could stay in. And we figured it was worth the drive to drive down for the day and come back to the campground. Some nice features of the campground was that it was right off the highway for us, so it's really easy to get to. The campground itself, the site that we stayed in, was water. You had to fill up with water before you got there, and the site was electric only, and then you had to dump at the station. Some really nice things about the campground were their activities that they had for the kids. So when you checked in, you got a paper that told you when they were going to get out the Berg, B-E-R-G, the Berg pedal go-karts, and they had this really nice track with like a wood fence, and then there were small stones, gravel stones, to make a path. So it was like a go-kart path, and they had, I believe, all three sizes of the Berg go-karts. So that was really nice. So they had the little buddies for the kids. Like I think they run ages like 4 to 8 years old can pedal them. And then they had the bigger sizes and then the largest size for the adults to ride. So that was really nice. And they had a staff member there when the go-karts were open or the pedal carts were open. There was always a staff member there. So that was also nice that they were willing to staff it to make sure everyone was safe and taking turns. Something else that they had was the jumping pillow, so that was good. The kids were very, very, very friendly on that. It was also fenced in, so you didn't have to worry about debris coming to you or dogs running on the jumping pad. And it was covered, so there was like a pavilion over top of it. So technically, I think you could jump on it on the rain, even though they said no jumping if it was going to be rainy. The arts and craft recreation was so busy. So what we gathered when we stayed there is that Little Bennett Campground is like home of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts for the area, because it is more of a city atmosphere there, or you're so close to the city, like in the suburbs, that anyone in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts camps at Little Bennett. So it was definitely highly polluted with organized groups of campers of young ages. So when you went to the arts and crafts, it was packed, but it was okay. It was fine. Now I know it's busy. You don't have to go. If it's really busy, don't go. So overall, we had a really good experience there. Some downfalls were that it was not a sewer site. We did have to fill up our water. Every site that we saw was so shaded. If you had a larger fifth wheel, I think you could have a harder time getting into the campground, just because there were some lower trees for even us, and we don't have a huge camper. So really good campground if you're in the area and you're looking for something a little different that's close to a city, but it still gives you the camping vibe.